Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and a lot of you have requested I talk about Fallout 4 New Vegas. Now, for those of you who are deep in the Matty cut, you'll know I run a supplemental podcast on my Patreon called An Extra Slice of Ham. I know you like that name. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on the most recent episode, I talked a lot about Fallout 4 New Vegas, but I said how I personally didn't want to just release a video fanboying about the mod. But things have actually changed now, because I looked up my most recent content for this mod and realized one of the most horrible things I've ever done as a content creator. I've never experienced more disappointment in myself than this moment right here, right now. I've only made one video on this mod, and it was when it was announced. That's not okay. I have to right the wrongs here, so you're getting traditional Matty, you're getting 2015 Matty here, who's gonna lose his mind over some nice classic Fallout content, so I hope you're ready. In all seriousness, this video is designed to excite, engage in some of the information that's available to us, go ahead and establish people who are just stepping into this mod, finding out about it for the first time. But I've been keeping up with this mod for a number of years. If you follow me on social media, like Twitter, at G27status, you probably should do that. I would really appreciate that. Over there, when they dropped, for example, one of the most iconic scenes in New Vegas, Remade, in Nipton, where the guy wins the lottery and approaches your character freaking out, right? This is one of the best moments in New Vegas as far as I'm concerned. And part of that is because I'm a little biased. I love Yuri Lowenthal, who voices that scene. Yuri is my favorite voice actor of all time, and as someone who is an amateur voice actor who just recently did their first voice acting gig, I can confidently say I have even more appreciation for people who have the confidence to step into the booth, because it is really nerve-wracking to try to transform your voice and do something cool for a game. And for someone to take a role that I view personally as incredibly iconic and redo it and do such a good job remaining faithful to that scene. I remember interacting with the voice actor over on Twitter about that very moment there. They've released a decent amount of content over time, but on the 10th anniversary of Fallout New Vegas, now considered a retro game, they dropped one of the steamiest, hottest trailers you will ever see as a Fallout fan. And so I think it speaks for itself as the footage rolls. We see tons of locations, tons of enemies, tons of weapons. A lot of people had the progress of this mod in question to some extent because the updates were more sporadic. Of course, like with any ambitious mod, whether it's Skyblivion, Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland, Fallout 4 New Vegas, these very big gargantuan mods, people always have the question of, will it get done? That's what people are always asking. So when things go quiet for a while, folks panic, and then they drop a big trailer, reassuring fans. It's a vicious cycle. If you've been covering mods for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this trailer is amazing. I can't believe it, right? Like, this is what we've dreamed of. This is what we have dreamed of, man. Like, I can't believe, but here's the thing. I want this project to go on. I want it to get finished, right? But I can't fathom a world where Bethesda looks at the hype behind it and goes, yeah, we're not going to do that. Like, what? Like, it is incredible that this is being done by modders. These people work so hard, man. Like, and especially the idea that if you own a copy of Fallout 4, you'll be able to get this for free at some point in time. Like, that leaves me speechless. Like, that's actually insane, man. They are going to such lengths to replicate the New Vegas experience, but at the same time, modernize it. For example, one of the bigger issues with, we'll say, any Fallout game before Fallout 4 is the gunplay. Doesn't feel that great. Well, imagine a world where Fallout 4 had its solid gunplay, but then there are skills and perks and all of the character building elements that made New Vegas and Fallout 3 great. Yes, you guessed it. This mod does that. Isn't that amazing? But they also go to an even further length. You look at, for example, Fallout 4, where they have the animated quest icons with the Vault Boy or the animated perks, that type of stuff, which I felt added a lot of flavor to the game, a lot of character to the game. I thought it was one of Fallout 4's strong suits. It was really embracing the Vault Boy, bringing it to life, and it just had a real charm to it. Here in Fallout 4 New Vegas, they're going so deep, they're going so far that they are actually animating stuff for quests, for companions, for perks. I don't know if you guys know how many perks are in New Vegas, but it's a lot. So they're putting a lot of effort into this. I think it's very apparent when you look at the trailer. And so for those who are worried if things are going to get done or not, it's being handled a lot like, say, Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland. I covered that mod for a long while, if you guys recall. And during that mod cycle, a lot of people were like, is this going to get shut down? Is this going to get shut down? Eventually, there was a conflict with Bethesda, and they had to restart because they had to recreate all the assets. If you're ever reusing something of Bethesda's, they are legally allowed to step in and be like, no, this is our property. You cannot use this in any way, shape, or form, and it will lead to the mod's closure. However, in the case of Fallout 4 New Vegas and many other mods now, after that lesson had truly been learned, is that if you build all these assets yourself from the ground up, music, voice work, that's why they're re-recording it, like in that Nipton scene, armor, weapons, the world space, objects, as every asset has to be remade from the ground up, which is why these take so long, but why it's all the more impressive that they even exist. It is a substantial amount of effort. It is a true game development project on a level that not many really ever shoot for their first games. And so it's great to maybe have on your portfolio, being able to say, hey, I worked on this insanely popular mod that remade one of the best role-playing games ever. But point being is I am confident it will get out because they are taking the same path that any other mod, like a Sky Oblivion, like a Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland, is now doing, which is recreating all the assets for the game. So for those of you who are a little concerned or wary about getting involved, getting excited, I think you're safe. Now, there's a lot of ways you can stay up to date. For example, like I mentioned on Twitter, you can follow at project_F4NV. You can go over to our YouTube channel, just search up Fallout 4 New Vegas, and you'll find all of the super popular videos from them over there. You can also head directly to their website, which I'll have linked in the description down below. Over there, you can even apply to join the team if you're one of many talented individuals out there who's interested in lending your abilities to the Fallout 4 New Vegas development team. You can do that. There's a frequently asked question section that I wanted to highlight here as we start to wrap up the video a little bit, because I'm not going to go over every single one here, but there are some major questions that I think people are going to be asking, and I wanted to go ahead and tackle them here in this video. Number one, will you be working on the DLC? Possibly. Our core focus is on remaking Fallout New Vegas itself. While some might say that the DLC is too important to be separated from the core of the game, we'd rather avoid any potential loss of focus on the core of the project. Additionally, given that the DLCs in New Vegas were often very much intended for higher level characters, the first two the player can access, Lonesome Road and Old World Blues, recommend a player level of around 20, when most players will have characters around 3 or 5. Lonesome Road can't even be properly started without a highly optimized character build until much later. We feel it'd be best to focus on getting the core game out first. I agree. I think get this out first. You know, hey, hype will be sustained, man. If they announce, hey, we're doing Honest Hearts next, and they just start re-releasing all the DLCs and little packages afterwards, if they even want to, right? It's a gift unto itself that we are going to be receiving at some point in time, a fan remake of Fallout New Vegas in the creation engine, right? Like, this is what we wanted. So for me personally, if they choose to do DLC, that's awesome. If they choose not to, I totally get it. They're probably going to be very spent once this project is done. Next question, will you be using Fallout 4's settlement system? Yes, player homes will be using a system based upon that used in home plate. So very similar to in Fallout 4, where when you go to Diamond City, there is the home plate. It is kind of like a set player base there where you can just kind of return wherever you want. It's not like, say, any random spot across Fallout 4's map, perhaps too many, that you could use to build a home base. It seems like there'll be like one designated spot, something that I think would have made sense in the initial creation of Fallout 4, but here we are today. Last question from the Q&A I did want to cover. Will Fallout 4 New Vegas be available on the Xbox, PS4, Switch, Sega CD? Of course, you guys all want, you know, Fallout on Sega CD, right? Unfortunately, that's simply not possible at present and is unlikely to ever be possible for several reasons. Fallout 4 New Vegas relies on the Fallout 4 script extender, which cannot be used with the console ports of the game. The functionality it provides is simply too important for us to sacrifice it in the name of compatibility. Size limitations on consoles is also a factor, with console mods having a maximum size of 2 gigabytes. Even in an early development state, Fallout 4 New Vegas has exceeded this limitation and is set to only get farther and farther out from it with each passing day. Finally, Fallout 4 New Vegas is reliant on content from Fallout New Vegas and indeed requires users to have legally obtained PC copies of the original game to run, so that these files can be extracted from Fallout New Vegas install files via an installer that will come with the mod when it is released. Console copies of Fallout New Vegas cannot have their files extracted and transferred in such a manner, meaning it is impossible for console users to actually install Fallout 4 New Vegas even if other limitations are overcome. So I thought this was important to talk about because I know there are a lot of people who mod their Bethesda Game Studios games on Xbox, and so people are going to naturally be wondering, hey, as an Xbox fan where there's looser limitations, I've been told by modders across the board that either way it's kind of a pain in the ass, but when it comes to Xbox, at least that's the more open to changing up your game as much as possible. People will be asking, can you get this on Xbox? The answer is no, and it seems like it's just based off the way the game is built. So no matter what technical limitations are overcome, let's say Bethesda says any size mod is okay, anything is possible, we can have the script extender on Xbox somehow. Even if that were to be the case, there is still the way that the game gets on to your computer. It has to be via PC because you need to be able to extract files from New Vegas itself. So you have to own both copies of the game, which I imagine most of you watching this video do. If you don't, wait for a Steam sale. Everything will be like $2 and you can save yourself a lot of money, and then just patiently wait while you replay maybe New Vegas one more time, as someone has replayed it like 80. It's not that bad, trust me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this satiated your need for a Matty Fallout 4 New Vegas video. I feel like I've done right here, made up for lost time. I promise I'll be more on top of this mod in the future. You guys know me, I like to dip in and out of mods here and there. I gave Sky Oblivion a ton of coverage, Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland a lot of coverage, and I feel like I need to do diligence here. I also gave Fallout The Frontier a lot of coverage. So I'm looking forward to hearing what all of you have to say in the comments down below about this mod. Let me know what you're thinking. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all of the patrons, all of the members who continue to push the limits of the content here. Appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll talk with you guys soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.